Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher and founder of Taoism, taught one of the most profound ideas in human history, the concept of Tao, meaning the way. According to him, life flows naturally, like water moving through a river. When we resist this flow by chasing control, success, or perfection, we create conflict within ourselves. But when we move in harmony with nature's rhythm, peace and clarity emerge effortlessly. Lao Tzu believed that true wisdom is not found in struggle, but in alignment, learning to act without force, to think without overcomplicating, and to live without resistance. His philosophy, known as Wu Wei or effortless action, teaches that simplicity, patience, and humility lead to inner freedom. In a world driven by control and chaos, Lao Tzu's teachings remind us that the greatest strength lies in stillness, adaptability, and the natural flow of life itself. Lao Tzu's philosophy begins with a simple but powerful idea: flow with life instead of forcing it. In the Taoist view, everything in nature moves effortlessly according to its own rhythm. Rivers do not struggle to reach the ocean, yet they always find their way. Similarly, when we try to force outcomes, control situations, or rush results, we create resistance within ourselves. This resistance leads to frustration, anxiety, and burnout. The principle of Wu Wei, meaning effortless action, teaches that true effectiveness comes from alignment, not aggression. When your actions are in harmony with the natural order, you achieve more with less effort. In practical terms, this means trusting timing, working patiently, and allowing things to unfold instead of trying to manipulate every outcome. Success achieved through constant struggle is temporary, but success that flows from inner balance is sustainable. The more we learn to adapt instead of resist, the more we discover that life moves smoothly, not because we control it, but because we've learned to move with it. Lao Tzu believed that stillness is not the absence of activity, but the presence of inner clarity. In a world where constant movement is seen as progress, stillness becomes a rare and powerful form of wisdom. The mind, when overwhelmed by thoughts and desires, loses its ability to see clearly. But when the mind becomes still, through awareness, silence, or reflection, understanding naturally arises. Practicing stillness allows us to respond instead of react, to observe instead of judge, and to act with wisdom instead of impulse. True peace, according to Taoism, begins within, not when the world stops moving, but when we stop being moved by the world. Practicing stillness allows us to respond instead of react, to observe instead of judge, and to act with wisdom instead of impulse. True peace, according to Taoism, begins within, not when the world stops moving, but when we stop being moved by the world. One of Lao Tzu's most misunderstood lessons is his teaching on control. He observed that human beings constantly try to dominate life, controlling people, outcomes, and even emotions. Yet, the more control we seek, the more chaos we invite. Taoism teaches that the world functions best when left to its natural course. Just as grass grows on its own and seasons change without command, life unfolds naturally when we stop interfering. This doesn't mean living carelessly, it means understanding that some things are beyond human authority. Letting go of control doesn't weaken you, it frees you. It reduces the anxiety that comes from expecting everything to go your way. The Taoist sage allows life to happen rather than forcing it to happen. This surrender is not defeat, but harmony with the larger order of existence. The more you release your grip on control, the more life aligns itself with peace and balance. Lao Tzu emphasized the importance of emptiness, not as a void, but as a space for growth. He wrote, "It is the empty space within the cup that makes it useful." In today's world, our minds are filled with opinions, judgments, and endless information. When we cling to what we already know, we leave no room for new understanding. Emptiness in Taoism means clearing the noise of ego and knowledge so wisdom can enter. Just as a vessel must be emptied before being refilled, we too must let go of fixed beliefs to evolve. This can mean unlearning outdated habits, releasing emotional baggage, or stepping away from constant mental stimulation. True learning begins when we stop assuming we already know. The more you empty yourself of pride, anger, and attachment, the lighter and wiser you become. In Taoism, emptiness is not absence, it is openness to truth. Lao Tzu observed that softness and flexibility often defeat hardness and rigidity. He compared water, soft and yielding, to rock, which is hard and unbending. Over time, water shapes stone, proving that gentle persistence is stronger than brute force. In human behavior, this means valuing patience, empathy, and adaptability over dominance and aggression. Modern culture celebrates toughness and control, but Taoism reveals that true strength lies in being flexible. The person who can adapt survives every challenge, while the rigid one eventually breaks. Gentleness is not weakness, it is mastery over one's impulses. A compassionate heart has the power to transform conflict into understanding. Lao Tzu teaches that resilience grows not from fighting life, but from flowing with it. When you embrace softness, in thoughts, speech, and actions, you become unshakable, not because you resist life, but because you move gracefully with it. At the core of Lao Tzu's philosophy lies simplicity. He believed that the root of suffering is excess desire, excess ambition, excess thought. The Taoist path encourages returning to simplicity, where life is not cluttered by endless wants. Simplicity doesn't mean poverty, it means clarity, knowing what truly matters. When we simplify our surroundings, routines, and expectations, peace naturally follows. Lao Tzu taught that a wise person does not chase wealth or recognition because such pursuits never end. Instead, they focus on inner fulfillment. A simple life allows one to see beauty in small things, to value silence, and to experience gratitude. Complexity breeds confusion, simplicity brings balance. In Taoism, the ultimate goal is harmony, with nature, with others, and with oneself. When you live simply, you discover that happiness is not something to be achieved, it's something that emerges when you stop complicating life.